Hello and welcome to a fresh episode of Platypod Perspectives, where each time around we show you an amazing image,
like this one.
And then we have the luxury of talking to
the artist that is behind this
photography so that you can learn from him.
This time around,
it's Ellis Vener. Now, Ellis is the associate editor for Professional Photographer magazine. I'm talking about the magazine for professional photographers. And that's some serious credentials. Ellis, thank you so much for
sharing that image and joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me, Larry. The Professional Photographer is the monthly publication of the Professional Photographers of America Association. And the link is ppmag.com.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit, Ellis. Let's talk about your image. You've got an incredible image here. And what was so striking to me is I see product photography, and that seems to be very popular. People are interested in product photography, but this image is just so different. You've got beautiful, beautiful lighting, and then you've got a shallow depth of field, and it really draws you in, and it makes you want to look at the image. So tell me a little bit about your inspiration for this. What led to this image?
Well, I've started playing guitar recently, and this is one of my three most favorite guitars of the three guitars I own. And it's a 2016 Squier Jazzmaster. Jay Macis is the guitarist in a band called Dinosaur Jr., and that's about all I know about him. I bought it used recently, but I really like the lines on it. And I had been practicing one day and put it down on my dining room table and saw the blinds reflecting on the pick guard and thought, that's pretty neat, and started thinking about what I could do with that. And then decided, why don't I bring in some lights? I use Nanlite 6-inch bar lights, LEDs. And I thought, well, let me see how I could bring them in to add some color as if it's like in a concert type environment. And one of the things I liked about the photo was the way the plastic has flexed over the years, that it warps and gives sort of a musical feeling to it, and just gave it a point of interest, made it not your usual product photograph.
Yeah, there's a lot to it that's different, because
I am seeing lots
of people, everybody wants to be a video influencer these days. And I'm into photography. I like and follow lots of photographers, and I've been doing that for years. So Facebook and YouTube, they feed me a lot of photography influencer videos where here's how you learn how to do such and such. And you don't see this kind of photograph. You don't see this, there's depth to it. There's thought to it. And those additional lights are just really impressive. And so can you tell me just a little bit about what we can
see? It looks like you shot it with a cell phone camera. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I shot it with my iPhone 14 Pro.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about post-processing. Did you do a lot of post-processing with this?
Not really. I mean, I did a little sharpening, a little definition, but really it's pretty much as it came out of the camera, because I'm very careful about, how I control the lighting, where I put the focus. And one reason why I use the iPhone here instead of one of my Nikons, my full frame Nikons, is because I tried this photo and tried photo stacking. Photo stacking is a way to increase depth of field, and there was no way even with my tilt shift 85 millimeter Nikkor PC 85 millimeter f2.8D PC Nikkor that I could get the depth of field that I wanted. So it was really like I had taken what I'd call a scouting picture to see what it would look like with my iPhone first, and the iPhone image just looked better. And once I realized that there was no way I could do it with a larger format camera, with a larger sensor, with a longer focal length lens, I would need to use the iPhone. Could I blow this up to 20 by 30? Probably not, and be happy with it.
Yeah.
But for web usage or just to share with friends and as an experiment to see what I could do, it does work. So that was sort of the thing that I learned about this is, hey, yeah, I already knew the camera in the iPhone was pretty good, but I never thought about using it for a quote serious still life.
Well, it really did turn out well, and the image is just something that catches your attention because it's different. And that's what we're kind of these days looking for, is those different kinds of things uh, as we see these images. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate your sharing this with us. Now, this image has also been featured on our blog already, and there's a bit of a write-up there and some additional images that people can see there. And one other thing that I want to ask you is, how can people find out more about you? Obviously, they could subscribe to Professional Photographer Magazine,
Or
um,
join PPA.
or join PPA. But how else can people find out about you, Ellis?
Well, my website is ellisvener.com. That's ELLISVENER.com. I've also been I'm sort of the ad hoc moderator right now for DP Review's Studio and Lighting Technology Forum. So that's dpreview.com. As my wife will happily tell you, I spend way too much time volunteering on the internet doing that sort of stuff. I want to come back to something you were talking about with the image being so different. That's something I really try to do in my work is see things differently. I'm influenced in that by a quote that I read about the famous still life photographer Hero. He was very prominent in fashion photography in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Hero said his apprenticeship was he was assisting Richard Avedon in the 1950s or the early 60s and getting tutored by the famous art director Alexei Brodovich. I'm probably massacring his name, but Brodovich was the first really high profile magazine art director. He started treating photographs like art in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And he gave Hero a couple of shoes and said, and Hero would just photograph them week after week after week. He'd take them in to show Brodovich, and Brodovich kept rejecting them and said, try again, try again. And finally, Hero got a photograph, which Brodovich said, there, that's what I want. A photograph I have not seen before. That's what you have to do to be a great photographer is try to make images that people haven't seen before.
That is definitely the takeaway for me here. Just that concept is something that photographers will be successful if they embrace that concept. Photographing something people haven't seen before.
Or photographing something that people have seen before, but photographing it in a way that they haven't seen it before to make them look at it differently. That's always been my goal. I mean, I do a lot of, as you can see, a lot of location photography on the screen that's running behind me. And I still try to bring that sort of thinking. Like, well, when I was coming up in the business in the 1980s, the rule was people are going to look at a picture for about 2 or 3 seconds and then move on. And your goal as a commercial photographer or as an advertising photographer is to get them to look at it for an extra second or two. And if you can do that, you're succeeding. And today, attention spans are even shorter, so we have to work harder at getting that prolonged attention.
Well, you certainly did it for me, and I hope that people are inspired as they're watching this episode, and then they try something different, even if it's something people have seen before, in a way people haven't seen it before. And I really like what you did with the lighting and then the reflection and everything that went into this image. It really turned out very well, and it inspired me to call you to ask you to be a part of Perspectives. Ellis, thank you so much for being a part.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. You know, every time we do these Perspectives interviews, is to help you as photographers see things differently. And hopefully you learned something today and you want to come back again next time because you never know what you're about to learn.